So this is going to be my Caro ring video. This is the intro. It's going to be a longer form video. I'm just going over every image relic in the Caro realm. I'm going to do this since it's dead content period. Now, I am streaming at the moment. So I'm going to showcase my stream chat. This is a unannounced stream. My announced streams usually get far more people compared to now. It's only like 13 viewers. I'm not really that big of a streamer. But when I announce the streams, it's like 40 to 80 sometimes if I'm doing CZN. But I'm pretty bored of that. But anyway, let's get started. We're going to get started for the Caro Image relics. Now, Caro Image ring or Caro ring, whenever it comes to D-Tide, is otherwise known as the hardest D-Tide week. Why? Because Caro has the worst image relics out of the 4 realms. It's not to say they're bad, but the good Caro image relics are on units you were gonna use anyway. Unlike other realms, which buffs a unit from unplayable to extremely playable or from good to broken, Caro image relics buff either units from broken to broken or to eh. So let me explain that since I already went over the blue ring. I'm gonna not go over the, I'll actually go over one ultra ring for the new video, but let's go over blue for example. Arita, one of the highest value image relics in the game. Some people would argue that is the best image relic in terms of power, from buffing to power, because this is an additional 1 damage count. Now, she does so many multi-hits. This is basically a doubling or 33% damage buff if you rouse her. This is insane value for image relic. Let's go over Sangha. This is one of the most powerful image relics for a standard unit in the game. Or even go over limited units like Corpo. This gives you a permanent lightning retribution whenever you proc a DR. Like, these are insane values. This makes units insanely strong. The weakest one would have to be Goliath. Like Celeste, insane healing for just keeping the cards in her hand. So let me go over Caro Realm. The best image relics in Caro Realm are on units you are already going to use that can already clear A5 or harder content. So you are almost always going to use a Jellet in D-Tide. Everyone should have a Jellet team. She's one of the best units in the game. Now, what does her image relic do? Doesn't matter. It can say do nothing. You're still going to use her. So all it does is give her elements and deals her more damage. But everyone who has played Jellet knows that she already does enough damage to kill the boss. So all this image relic does is win more. So let's go over Thighs. Thighs is already good. This gives you 201 more strength and more super babies without arousing her. This just makes her win more. Everyone is going to use Thighs in a D-Tide. This does not change her from unplayable to playable. It does not buff her from great to God. It buffs her from God to God. Okay? It's S tier to S tier. You are already going to use Thighs. This does not change anything. That's the same for all the good units. Now, arguably, the best unit that buffs that you normally don't use in the first place is fucking Agrea. Agrea is one of the cases where it makes her extremely good, but there's so few cases. You're already going to use Jellet. You're already going to use Thighs. You're already going to use Aigis. So this could all just say do nothing, do nothing, and you would still use these units. Whereas every other realm has image relics, which makes incentivizes you to use units you otherwise wouldn't use in the first place, because their image relics are so good. Now let's go over the weaker units in Caro Realm, in what I explained. So let's go over fucking Lei. Lei, it should be in her base kit. This makes her usable. It does not make her broken. Now, this makes her usable in D-Tide, and I think she's very good with the image relic. If the image relic was in her base kit, she would be C tier, maybe C+. But I'm going to go over that individually later. So that's an example. Because Feint, you're only using a DR like this, doesn't matter. All these image relics are either win more or make a unit okay. It does not make a unit insanely broken, like Aritas, like Sangas. So we're going to go over one at a time, each and every image relic. I'm going to go over the gameplay. Again, this is less effort than my Blue Ring video. Because Blue Ring, I edited, this is going to be one long form video because I have to edit manually the Taki interview as well for part 2 and part 3. I'm very sorry. But these videos are unpopular in the first place, even when I did edit them. The Blue Ring was unpopular. I edited it. I spent time on it. So I'm not going to bother spending time on this. So, yeah. So let me go in on a random wave, and we're just going to bump it down to low alert so the video will at least go by a little bit faster. Let's go alert 3. I'm just putting random wheels in, okay? I'm running random wheels, random shit. It doesn't matter. Just to show you what each image relic does. In a gameplay perspective. Again, this is all random. Do not follow this team comp. This is not a real team comp. I just picked 4 Caro characters, okay? Maybe later on in the video, I make a real team for some of the later rings. But this is just a useless team comp. Don't run this team comp. Okay. So let's go over Lei. Lei's image relic, which I talked to Taki about them putting like buffs that should have been in the base kit in the image relic. This, unlike other realms, like this one is fine image relic. This just buffs the stats. This is fine as an image relic. This is even fine as an image relic. This, however, makes her extremely usable. It's very good. They can just nerf the values and put this into Lei's base kit, and it will be insanely good. She will be very good. You know why? Because this, every time you lose HP, you gain 8 strength up to 10 times per battle. So this is 80 strength whenever she loses HP. And after stacking 10 times, it changed the cost of this card. It makes this card cheaper. Reduce the cost by 2. And damage camp increased by a 1. So this card normally, it's a 3 cost retain card. Now, that's one of the issues, in my opinion, for Lei. This is too expensive for what it does. A 3 cost card in, you know, management of your Arithmetica management or mana management. I'm going to call it mana management because everyone's familiar with mana, usually. This card, normally, 3 costs. Garbage. However, if it was a 1 cost or whatever, you would feel less bad about playing this. Because you have this in your hand, we're taking a big burst damage. And you get a nice shield at turn of next turn. Another reason why it's a particularly bad card in general is because not every boss hits you after doing a big hit. In most scenarios, a boss is going to do a big hit and it's going to give you a turn of rest. You know, a turn of rest. It's like fucking Jesus. Fucking God. When God created planet Earth, he rested for a day, otherwise known as Sunday. So the boss has 6 weekdays of beating your ass. You play this card, the boss is on his fucking Sunday evening, okay? He's not doing shit to you the next turn. So this giant shield does dog shit in most boss fights. That's how they make most bosses in the game. They make it so that, hey, the boss is gonna wail on your ass, and then he's gonna take a big break until he wails on your ass some more, okay? That is the design philosophy of this game. So in general, this card is pretty bad. This card is very bad because for most bosses. Now, on the bosses which it does take effect in, you have to have future sight. You have to actually play the game a lot and already fight the boss beforehand. So you bring her into very niche scenarios in the game. You bring her into scenarios where you already know exactly what the boss is going to do. The boss is going to do a big hit later. Okay, he's going to do a little hit now. You use the turn out and have a shield for the big hit later. However, if you're going to content blind, which I'm sure most of you guys like to do, Lei is fucking useless for that. If you're going to a boss blind, you don't know what it's going to do, you use pain and pleasure, and like next turn, the boss doesn't do anything. You're sitting here with a 500 shield, and you're like, oh, wasted when you could have just played other cards in your hand. So yeah, this Image Relic takes away the pain of misplaying that card. Yeah, this strength gain is quite good for Lei. For Lei in general. Because normally Lei doesn't generate a lot of strength. But again, yeah, see what I'm talking about? That was a big hit. This is only alert 3. That was 311 damage. So on alert 3, that is high. Guess what the boss is doing right now? Or this mob. He's resting. It's his Sunday. He's resting. So this shield, again, the only reason I knew that was going to happen is because I played the game a lot. Most guys will not know that. So that's why Lei is pretty bad in general for most players. Some people on fucking Reddit are fucking dumb as fuck saying this is good. No. This is of lost HP. This is good for me when you're at 1 HP for a big flat heal. Most of you guys playing the game, most new players, guess what your max HP is determined on? How strong your team is, how much con values you have, your account level. So, it heals you more the stronger your account is. If your account's already strong in the first place, why the fuck do you need to heal? Just use Crimson Furnace. You know what also scales off of your max HP? Your Crimson Furnace. And this is flat healing. You know who else also does this without this? Miriam. Miriam restores 10% max HP per sacrament. That's 3 sacraments without eating and wasting a baby. That is pointless. So let's go. So that's Lei. Lei is good. This Image Relic is good. Everything about her should be in our base kit. Make it weaker. If this is probably too strong. This is 80 strength. It triggers everyone. Just cap it at 5 stacks. And maybe keep this at 10. Or maybe reduce the strength to 4. Even 4 is good. Because remember, her Soul Forge is gain strength equals to 1.4% of Lei's attack. Everyone knows she has the lowest stats in the game. Why do they do this? This is how much strength playing her card does with Soul Forge 5. That is 3 strength, dude. That is 3 strength per card. This Dorsine route, again, is wailed 117. What is Dorsine's Exalt? 73. So yeah, you don't need to be a fucking rocket scientist to figure out why she's bad in the first place. Why she's low even on Chinese tier lists. So let's go over Agrea. Since it's here. Agrepa's Image Relic is decent. Now, it does not really make her playable. As in, this Image Relic, it doesn't mean she's weak. It just means that you're not going to put her in a team you otherwise wouldn't for the Image Relic. Because what it does, besides the Ailments game, which everyone does, is it reduces the cost of her cards when you have Reluctant Arms played. So this is Reluctant Arms. Okay? So normally it reduces the cost, so it reduces the cost of Agrepa's Rift by 1. Taking an effect of 1 time. So it just makes her cards cheaper. However, it does have downsides. What if you don't have Agrea cards in your hand and you draw that card? Well, nothing happened. Because it reduced the cost for this turn. So you have to have a team that has high draw potential, like a G-Doll team, for example, with an evolved G-Doll, and playing this. Because you see what it did? It made all of her cards in our draw pile 1 cheaper if it belongs to Agrea. So her strikes are now free. Her defenses are now free. So Reluctant Arms itself is now 1 cost cheaper. However, if you don't have it in your hand, if you don't happen to have it in your hand, it doesn't do anything. So that's the big downside of it. However, it is decent overall. Most of the cases you're going to have it, you put her on a draw team. However, you have to build a team around the Image Relic. And most of you guys, you aren't going to do this. So yeah, it's pretty bad compared to Lei. But it is good for her. But it's not going to make you put her in a team you otherwise wouldn't. So let's go over Aigis. Again, you're going to have Aigis anyway. Why? The stun. You are going to play her anyway for this stun. all this does is buff her by making her stun easier to recharge. This, by the way, whenever she does damage to units with vulnerable, she steals 21 strength up to 5 times per turn, so 105 strength. See how fast I did that math? I'm fucking Asian, motherfucker. So yeah, this is stealing 21 strength per each instance of damage she does to a unit. So yeah, minus 21 strength. So the problem is she doesn't have that many multi-hit in strength values. So her attack cards are going to be Small Wish, Decomp, and whatever. So realistically, you're going to proc that once or twice a turn, usually. Once or twice a turn. Maybe 3 times if you're lucky. Someone's going to buy this, it doesn't matter. So let me go over the last unit. Now I'm going to go to the next unit. So Dorsine. Dorsine is good. Everyone memes on Dorsine. Dorsine is quite bad as an endgame unit, but he's quite decent for mid, early game, even like low endgame. Unless, like Taki says, everyone who's played endgame knows, if you're playing against a unit or a boss that actually has real 8 HP, Dorsine falls flat. Dorsine falls flat. However, the Image Relic helps him scale a bit faster, because every turn, you get 34 strength. This is quite huge. And whenever he eats a corpse. So basically whenever he exalts. Or whatever. Consumes a corpse. Or whatnot. She gains temporary strength equal to 20% of his permanent strength. So eventually, towards the end of a boss fight. When you have 1,000, 2,000 strength. This is going to give you 200, 400 strength. So this is quite nice. And even early on, it's quite nice overall. And to help him charge up faster. It's nice. It makes him playable, but it's not as strong as some other Image Relics. So let me go over the other Image Relics in this video. So let me go in again. Let's make another team. So Caro. Again, I'm going to do batches of 4 at a time to speed it up. So actually, not really, because I'm going to do specific comps for specific units to showcase the Image Relic better. So let's do Helot, Sorel, Zoo, and let's actually put in the Corpo. Why? Just to showcase the thing. So let's put in the, let's see here, discard. And let's put in a random, let me double this up. Actually, no, I want to double purse. So let me put in fucking, just to showcase is best. Put in this, and put in this. Sup, Silent Kobashi. Fuck. Put in this, and again, this has no rhyme or reason, by the way, in terms of what out. This has no rhyme or reason. Do not run this. Let me put in, where's Dice Wheel? This. Key Flare to show up. Here we go. So, those of you guys who know what Helot's Image Relic knows why I'm building this real fast. So, let me go in. Oh, it's alert 1. Fuck, the 10 tentacles are going to kill the mobs. Whatever. Should be enough to showcase. So, let's go over Zoo. Everyone knows Zoo is quite good. At the beginning of every turn, it automatically spellbounds an enemy. And the first card that she plays every turn will trigger the resonance effect. That basically means that you don't have to do her whole mechanic. Her whole mechanic is automatically done for you. So it's quite nice. It's one of the stronger ones, but she doesn't really need it. The spellbound effect is probably the best one, because getting spellbound effects on Zoo is quite hard, because it's only tied to her 2 costs and her Exalt Betrothed, which they recently buffed. It doesn't change her placement on the tier list. I value her highly because she functions great, and you can just use her as a big a Rift bot. So let's go over Sorel. Sorel is one of the extremely good DPS ones. Why? The final damage infinite scaling battle towards the end here. This one is probably the best part about the Sorel Image Relic. So for each instance of damage built by Sorel, and this is the Embryo Fusion is good, and this is good. So this buffs her damage immensely, and it helps her scale out throughout a fight. So on longer fights, she does better, and she's a pretty good unit overall. I use her as a baseline unit. Reason why she's C tier, I'm gonna value every unit compared to Sorel from now on. She's always going to be C tier unless there's a better option that's more of a middle ground character. So Helot, at turn start, each time a card is discarded, Helot gains 5 elements. So it not only works with this card, it also works with end turn. Because remember, this card refers to every time you get rid of cards in your hand. So if I get rid of all these cards from my posse, boom, tons of elements for her. And if I end turn with non-retained cards, also a lot of elements. So this basically makes her Exalt a lot easier to perform. So again, every time you... Remember, ending turn also counts as a discard. This counts as a discard. Ending turn counts as a discard. Every time a card is basically removed from your hand, it counts as a discard. So it's basically a lot of elements gained for Helot. So that's those 4. Okay, we're going probably about as fast. This video might be short, so I'm gonna make it longer for no reason at all, just to punish people. So let's go over these 4. Let's go over these 4 right now. Whatever. Why is Gel our key flare bot? No rhyme or reason. Just speed is the name of the game here. So let's go over these 4. So here we go. I don't know why I keep setting the other one. So this, the Elements Recharge is nice. That's what everyone gets. This is the main benefit of the dice. You don't need to rouse dice. As long as you play 2 dice command cards with 3 turn cooldown, you get a super baby. So what this does, that's lucky, is you don't have to rouse dice for a Gelit burst turn. So you can just weakness, play this. This is 2 cards, and boom, super baby. And that is the main benefit. You get a super baby without rousing her. And you get a nice bit of strength as well. So, Pikmin. So, Alimus gain, which is whatever. For each stack of creativity gain, randomly reduce the arithmetic cost of 1 card in hand by 1 this turn. This is probably one of the best support image relics in Caro. Like, this is so good. This is so good. It makes your hand pretty cheap, and it lets you go for the Pikmin super runs quite well, which I'll try to get. So let's go over Feint. So Feint, shield generation, counter HP plus 15%. This is quite huge. You see it on my GDAW run, or if you run the GDAW comp, this D-tie, you know how strong this is. And this is a permanent buff. Each time DR is triggered, she gets insane shield, counter, and HP regen. Up to 5 times. So basically, she becomes a very, very strong shielder. This card will reach like close to 100 if you full proc it. So let's go over Gelit. So, Gelit's active damage, add 20% bleed. This is the only effect that you care about. This bottom effect, might as well say do nothing. It only helps in mob waves. In trash mobs. So, on a boss fight, this does not do anything. The only thing that takes into account is this. So this is a pretty weak one overall, but it does help the mob waves easier. Because with weaker Gelit, if you're fighting a big mob wave, the bleed is going to carry over when you do the burst turn. So let me do this. So, it's not enough health. I need to do something else. There's not enough health on these mobs. So, if I play this, yeah, it's not enough health. Basically, if you kill this 400 is going to transfer to this, and this mob is going to take more damage. That's all it does on mob waves. It's not that particularly great, in my opinion. It's not that great. It's helpful, but it's not like, you know, OMG broken must-have, because, again, it doesn't take effect during bosses. It's only irrelevant in bosses that spawn mobs, and there are very few bosses that spawn mobs in the game. So let me go out. And let me go over the last one. I think it's the last one. I think Salvador is the last one. Let me see here. Yep, Salvador is the last one. So this is going to be a longer format. I'm going to cut the video, and I'm going to use the rest for my generic team comp videos. For the fucking easiest comp to play in the fucking game. Uvash. Image Relic. His Image Relic is useless, by the way. His Image Relic is useless.